Well, Ann Coulter, of course, best-selling author, big columnist. You know, her latest book is In Trump We Trust. It's already a national bestseller, In Trump We Trust. But this is the Trump book. You can go to AnnCoulter.com and get it there, AnnCoulter.com. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Mark Simone?
Very good. We have this video we put up on the webpage today. It's on Twitter if you want to see it. It's George Stephanopoulos' wife. And she's on The View, and she's explaining that their 11-year-old is so frightened of Trump that she can't sleep at night.
You know, if you needed any more proof that what, I don't know, traditionally has been called the mainstream media has lost its mind, you can't get any straight news anymore. I mean, this business about the Russian hacking, Mark, it's crazy. And it's being pushed by the Washington Post and the New York Times. The FBI disputes it. They keep citing this Mike Morell, the former head of the CIA, who works for a Clinton-affiliated outfit and was involved in the Benghazi lie when the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton blamed the Benghazi attack on some Americans' video. Mike Morell, head of the CIA, he helped with that. He helped with the lie. He's the only named source, and the rest are just vague, anonymous sources. Trump has got to shut down the CIA. This is not something I'm saying just now in response to this. For those of you who follow my work assiduously, you know that I've been pointing out America has the worst intelligence of any country in the world. Burkina Faso has better intelligence. The French have way better intelligence. Walmart has better intelligence.
You know,
why? It's because after Watergate, and they're all on the record, this is all in my book, Treason, the Democrats got it in their heads that Watergate would never happen again and Nixon could never happen again if they just destroyed the CIA. So that is what they did. As Democratic Congressman Ron Dellum said at the time, he vowed he would dismantle every intelligence agency in the country, piece by piece, brick by brick. That is a quote. And they did it. So our CIA, all they can do, they're lawyers instead of spies. They sit around CIA headquarters drinking pina coladas and reading the Islamabad Post. We know more than they do, and they're constantly getting themselves involved with these political machinations, relying on the Hollywood version of the CIA, where the CIA knows something. They know nothing, and it's a very expensive agency. This nonsense they're putting out anonymously through anonymous sources that won't be, with no evidence attached, that the Russians were involved in this. You know, the lie is catching up with them. I just saw them, I don't know, on MSNBC or CNN, one of the fake news stations, which is all of them, trying to explain why it is, if this is true, why didn't Obama investigate? Well, he didn't want to start a war, and yeah, that's getting to be kind of hard to explain.
You know, one thing we do know, we have absolute hard evidence. Debbie Wasserman Schultz rigged and tampered with the entire primary process. Her office is 6 blocks from CIA headquarters, and they couldn't detect her. So obviously, they don't know what's going on.
And the funniest thing was you were tweeting about last night, as was I, is the mystery of why they had all of these emails from John Podesta and not the RNC is that Podesta fell for a really obvious phishing scheme. Type in your password here.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Hey, and the New York Times is the one that reported that way back when. They said he got one of those stupid emails, we need your password, and like a moron, he types it in.
Right.
So,
right. So I think mystery is solved here. But the fact that this is and that they're cycling through all of these attacks, all of these attempts to delegitimize Trump, and, you know, on one hand they'll say, oh, no, we're not trying to overturn the Electoral College. No, there are Democratic congressmen on TV right now saying, well, I think electors should reconsider their votes now. They should reconsider that. And before that, you know, it was the recount we had to go through, which resulted, by the way, in Trump picking up votes.
Yeah. I guess they have to, for all you Democrats out there, if you want to steal election, you got to do it before the election. It doesn't really work afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
But this whole post-election period has been the living evidence of my point that you can always tell what Democrats are guilty of by what they accuse you of. And the hysteria and attempts to delegitimize the election, and the big one, the fake news. That the fake news won this election. They're the ones in real time right now putting out fake news.
Hey, let's talk about the cabinet. We're talking with Ann Coulter.
Yeah.
You should get her book, In Trump We Trust. Are you happy with all these people? Do we really need Rick Perry in the cabinet?
Well, I can now sleep at night. All is right with the world. We just need Chris Kobach at Homeland Security, and then I won't even have to read the news. Everything's just going to be great. I'll get tired of winning. I won't be able to watch the news. We'll be winning so much. Stephen Miller, Chief White House Policy Advisor, was appointed last night. And he's the one who's been writing all those magnificent speeches for Donald Trump. He's a great patriot. He came from Sessions' office, and I think he was the first policy aide Trump had, helped formulate that magnificent immigration policy paper back in 2015 for Trump. It was funny, the Washington Examiner, they had a big article on Stephen Miller, who, by the way, just turned 30, how he's going to be, main White House policy advisor. And then, as like an afterthought in the last paragraph, also, Tillotson was nominated to Secretary of State and Rick Perry to Energy.
And Department of Energy, that's not even a real department, is it? I mean, they don't actually do anything there. Except overregulate.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose there's a lot of things that need to be gotten rid of, and then they can shut it down. I love this guy as Secretary of State.
Rex Tillerson.
Yes, and I want to point out to listeners, don't be fooled by liberal hysteria. Just because they're upset at MSNBC doesn't mean it's a good hire. That's just a general rule. And for proof, I will remind you that the left was hysterical about David Souter and John Roberts. Yet and still, the particular people hysteric about Tillotson, is it Tillotson?
Tillerson.
Tillerson, sorry about that. The particular people hysterical about him are all the warmongers. I have a whole chapter on in Trump We Trust about what has happened to my party. They're all itching to go to war with Russia. They seem to think it's still 1980 and it's still the Soviet Union with all of their satellites. No, everybody remember now, Reagan won the Cold War, and a big part of Trump's campaign was no more pointless wars all over the world. But I never really, when I was accused of being a neoconservative and a hawk, I was a huge supporter of the Iraq War, and I was, and I'd still defend it. I think it was Obama who gave away our victory and turned it into a defeat. But I don't want to do it again and pointlessly and all over the world. Apparently, we did have allies back then who want nothing but permanent war. And boy, has Trump flushed them out. Well, they're the ones.
But what about John Bolton? He's a little in that category.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that because I really like him. But I don't like the policy of permanent war. I mean, it's part of it's an illustration of the Sidney Hook expression, to a man with a hammer, all the world is a nail. People whose specialty is going to war, you often don't want to put them in charge of deciding whether we'd go to war, because that's always their answer. One horrible cabinet appointee, since I've praised the rest, I can trade off here, is this Puzder, or Puzder, that's what it is. It's the weirdest name. At Labor, he's the Hardy's chief executive. It's Puzder. That's why I'm saying it. I even know what it is, and I can't say it. And he's Mr. Amnesty. His big idea has been replace American workers with foreign workers. We need more cheap workers. We can get rid of these useless Americans. Over and over and over again, he was totally for the Gang of Eight bill. That's the name of the Rubio amnesty bill.
That's a lot of people, though, and he's not going to be setting policy.
Well, have you heard of Peter Kirsanow?
No.
He's brilliant.
Who is he?
He's fabulous. He's a civil rights commissioner. He went to Cornell.
Well, that's one reason not to put him in there.
I've known him for years. known the name. I haven't known him. I've known the name for years and years and years, and known him as this. He really is interested in labor, and one of his big points is, who does immigration hurt? It hurts African Americans most of all. Guess what? A guy with a name like Peter Kirsanow is black.
Well, okay, but
get your diversity with no compromise on ideology.
But the Trump policy will be the wall, no illegal immigration, so that's done. But then you need this.
No, it's really not done, baby cakes. Do not be fooled by the man at the top. I do believe that Trump's heart's in the right place, but if he doesn't put the right people in position beneath him, no, immigration will not get done. Other things might get done, or at least they won't be expressly blocked. Every single jot and tittle of what Trump wants to do on immigration is going to be ferociously, hysterically opposed by the corporate lobbyists, by the Chamber of Commerce, by the Republicans, by the Democrats, by Paul Ryan, by George Soros, by the Wall Street Journal editorial page, by Trump's own UN ambassador. No, unless he puts people like Chris Kobach at Homeland Security and Peter Kirsanow at Labor, it will not get done.
Oh, listen, he turns them into little whimpering puppy dogs like Romney. They'll be just sitting there at John George with them, afraid to eat, just with their head down.
No, he's got a lot of work to do. He can't be all things to all people at all times. We already have Carnival Cruise Lines. Did you see this? They're firing all their American employees before Christmas.
Well, yeah, but you got
a lot of American employees and forcing them to.
All right, but you got IBM just announced 25,000 new jobs in New York. I hate to say it, we're out of time, but everybody.
The point is, Trump is going to be busy on the phone yelling at American CEOs and telling them to hire Americans and stop outsourcing. He doesn't have time to do everything. That's why he should be appointing good people.
All right, everybody get Ann Coulter's book.
Isn't. Yes, in Trump we trust.
In Trump we trust, and get her new column. Go to AnnCoulter.com, and you can get everything there, AnnCoulter.com. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
Take care.